Someone sent this to me about a week ago. I looked it up. You can look it up. It's called Checkmate. Now, in the picture, you may have seen it before. This was hanging in the Louvre in Paris until 1999 when it was sold at auction. But the story is told, and I've ran all the sources I could find. I personally believe it really happened. It may be apocryphal, I don't know, but every source I've found says this really happened, what I'm about to tell you. Put it back up. That on a tour of the Louvre, there was a tour group that came through, and they would stand at the Van Goghs and whatever, and they would admire the paintings and move on. So they got to this painting of Checkmate, and the tour group moved on, but there was one guy that stayed. And the tour guide came back and said, "Sir, we've moved on." He said, "But I can't move on yet." He said, "Because I'm a chess master. I've won chess tournaments all over the world, and I can't stop looking at this." And the tour host said, "Well, sir, we've got to move on." He said, "You don't understand. There's something wrong with this painting." Now, you see, the painter originally thought the one on the left was Satan, and the one on the right was a forlorn Christian who had been defeated. Checkmate. If you know anything about chess, when you're checkmate, the king has no more moves. If I get you in checkmate, that means you have no moves. But the chess master said, "I look at that painting and I see that the king has one more move. And that one more move will turn defeat into victory." And the tour guide said, "Well, what are you trying to say?" He said, "The painting is wrong." He said, "The king still has a move." And I tell you this morning, the king has a move. And just when you think you've lost, just when you think it's over, the king has one more move. It's not over yet. Woo! I tell you what I heard about 2 Sundays ago. I said, "Lord, what meaneth this?" He said, "Remember David when he went out against the Philistines?" And I told him, "When you hear the sound of the marching in the tops of the mulberry trees, that's the army of the Lord." And I began to hear a sound, a roar in the top of the mulberry trees, because God said, "I've got one more move." And right now the clouds are gathering, and the storm clouds of God's power is gathering. And before you know it, you're going to wake up one morning and His power will be released in this culture on the earth. And He will say to you and me, "I had one more move, and this is it."